Okay, so picking up from the previous lesson, we're going to go ahead and now take a look at quantize. So if you hover your mouse, it'll just say set weights to a fixed number of steps. Go ahead and click it, and this is of course going to work on the active group. Basically what this is doing is dividing between your highest value 1 and your lowest value. How many steps do you want to divide between them? So if we take this all the way to 1, it's just one step, and if you take it all the way to its max 100, it'll give you a much more smoother gradient over here. That's all that does. Go ahead and just reload this file. Now levels, basically when you click it, what it's going to do is raise the vertex weight values on all your vertices at the same time. So if you click this, you'll see that we're raising all the values at the same time. And of course, gain here is it's going to come from the center outwards, right? It's just increasing that gain, so you can lower that and just mess around with this until you get the values that you're looking for. That's basically what the levels does. Now you'll notice that smooth is grayed out. So what we're going to do is actually reload this. Now in order to use smooth, if we hover our mouse, it says disabled vertex select needs to be enabled. So what it's saying that if you want to use smooth, you're going to first have to go into this vertex mode. It's going to enable it. Now if we click it and actually try to use it, it's not going to do anything. What it doesn't tell you is that you actually have to select the vertices over here. Now when you go back and do smooth, you'll notice that what this is going to do is start to smooth your values. Now remember, when you're doing smooth over here, iterations, it's going to work from the outer to the inner. So here expand contract is from the center, right, going outwards, and over here iterations, you can see that if we put in more, it's changing the values from the outer to the inner. Basically that's what it's doing. Okay, so that's how that works. Now as I said, we'll go ahead and reload this file. Limit total is going to be a very important thing to use, because if you go ahead and click this, go ahead and click on a vertex in the neck, you can see that in this crowded space we're having too many bones assigned to this vertex group. And of course, gaming engines require that only 4 vertex groups can be used per vertex when it comes to deformed bones. So that's what this is for, limit total, right? So go ahead and uncheck this. So if we click on limit total and put this on 4, now click on the vertex, you'll notice that over here it's now 4. That's basically what that does. Okay, so you're going to be using this button quite a bit when you are going through the rigging process. And of course, fixed deforms is something that hasn't worked in Blender for a while, and it doesn't work, so we're not going to be looking at this. Now let's take a look at what is this weight gradient concept. Now in order to even use this, it doesn't work very good with the mirror modifier. So right now we don't actually have the mirror modifier, so we're going to be able to see how it works. Basically what that's going to do is allow you to create a gradient. So over here, I'm just going to put this down to 1 just to show you what that's going to do. Now of course you're not going to use this on a figure. It's going to be more useful for large pieces of clothing, or let's say some kind of a ribbon or something. So if you click this, what it's going to do is as soon as you click it and drag your mouse, everything behind it will start to get the initial starting value, and it will start to create a gradient. I'm going to go to Control Z to undo this. Actually increase this quite a bit. Now if you click on weight gradient, now when you do it, you'll see that what it's doing, it's letting you create a gradient like this. Okay, now this is actually not very practical to understand. How do you even use this thing? So what we're going to do is actually go to new and just do reload startup file. Do A to select everything, X and delete, do Shift A and add a grid, press the Tab key, press the S key to just scale this out, do W and subdivide 1. Let's actually do it one more time. This might slow Blender down, but I'm just going to show you how to use this. Now go ahead and actually switch this to a weight paint mode first and press the Z key so you can see this. Okay. So the first thing that I want you to do is go ahead and click on Add and switch to the Data tab. Notice that there are no vertex group here. So Blender's default behavior is that if it doesn't find any vertex groups, it's just going to assign them. So over here, what we want to do is just paint across. Now notice that I'm actually positioned like this because it doesn't really matter, right? So what we're going to do is just paint across like this over here, right? Now you can see that it's been assigned. Okay, so what you want to do is now go to the physics tab, click on sorry, not dynamic, click on cloth, go to pinning, go ahead and click this and click on group. So what that's going to do is now simulate a cloth. Now in order to even see this, first you want to switch to object mode, press the Z key. Now if you click play, now before you do that, actually decrease this to around 100 frames. Otherwise it takes too long, and make sure that you click over here. Every time you click over here, it's going to reset the simulation. Click on play. So you'll notice that what that's doing is creating a cloth simulation. It's just going to keep resetting. Now when you switch to edit mode, you're not going to be able to see this, but it just so happens when you click on weight paint, it will reset. So now what we're going to do is increase the strength over here on 1. Take a look at what happens when we just zoom in. Okay, go ahead and stop this and actually take it all the way back. Go ahead and add a much more higher value. Go ahead and click on play. Now you'll notice that it's going to pin like this, okay? So it's just a piece of cloth that we're simulating. So now what we want to do is actually use this concept. I'm just going to decrease this and look at weight gradient. You can actually have the simulation running if you want, it doesn't matter over here. Click on weight gradient, and now we're going to add a gradient over here like this. Now you'll notice that how this is behaving. Okay, so this is what you can use weight gradient for. We can of course decrease this over here, but now notice that once you decrease it, go to weight gradient and now do it again, it's just simply adding, right? Why is it doing that? Because look what we're on add. So here we can do it backwards, right? We can actually do multiply over here, as I've shown you. Keep this on strength of 1 and just decrease it like this. Now we're going to go back to weight gradient and go back this way, and now we can actually start to remove a few things over here. Okay, and or you can just go to subtract and do the same thing. Keep this a strength over here and make it go down. Click on weight gradient and go back this way. So now we're just removing. Okay, so now what I want to show you that, okay, well, if you go to the data tab and add a new vertex group, we can actually click over here and add a displace modifier which uses a vertex group. Go ahead and click it. Okay, so what this is going to do, make sure you click on these. Now we're going to click on add over here and go ahead and just click a few times over here. You can see that we're creating kind of like almost like a mountain area over here. Okay, so that's what displace is doing. So I'm just going to actually do the F key to make it a little bigger. You can see that it's actually popping out like this. Remember, you can switch to object mode at any time to see what's happening. Now in weight paint, since we already know what these things do, what we can do is actually smooth this, right? So here we can click on the vertex mode and just click on a smooth on this guy over here and do iterations. So now it'll just smooth it. Go ahead and click this off. Right, so here I'm just demonstrating to you how this weight gradient works and how you can use vertex group in different ways. Now lastly, you can actually click over here and now add another modifier and say that, okay, I want to use the mask modifier, and go ahead and click over here, click this, and make sure you click over here. Now press the F key to come down about here and just roll it like this. Okay, so now if you click over here, we can actually start to make the cloth to disappear in a few areas like this, like it's a torn cloth or something. Now switch to object mode. So you can see how we can use vertex groups in multiple ways. Anyway, the point of this whole thing was to see how the weight gradient works. So now let's go ahead and just switch over here. So now you've seen how all these concepts work. Okay, so What we're going to do now is take a look at this concept, transfer weights. This is a very powerful feature in Blender, and you're going to be using this quite a bit when you are adding, let's say, clothing to your character. Basically, the idea here is that you can take a different type of object that does not match the topology of this figure and tell Blender to project the already assigned weights to that new object. It's a very powerful concept. Now, the thing about it is that when you want to understand how to use it, it's difficult to get your mind around what it's doing. So what Blender does is actually gives you another way to understand this. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is actually switch over to edit mode, press the Z key to go into solid view, go ahead and turn off show weights and turn off the armature. Now, the way the weight transfer concept works is that if you want to transfer weights from your figure to another object, that object's origin point should match where the figure's origin point is. Now, the quickest way to understand how weight transfer works is to simply create an accessory on your figure. So here I'm just going to show you how to do that very quickly. Now, this is not the ideal way to do it, but this will help you to see how weight transfer works. Go ahead and click on this vertex, press the C key, and go ahead and select these vertices over here. And here we're just going to create a quick pattern of some type of an accessory that's going to be stuck to this figure. So let's just keep it symmetrical over here, just to keep it simple. Okay. Now we're going to extract this object from the figure. Press the 3 key to go to the right view, do Shift D to duplicate it, and just move it kind of close over here. Now press the P key and then do separate by selection, and then go ahead and click on this new object, which is now this. Go ahead and double click this and type in vest and press the enter key. Notice that when we extracted this, its origin point is exactly in the same place as the figure. This is a key concept to use vertex transfer weights. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go to the modifiers tab, move up the subdivision modifier, increase this, and then click on apply. When you do the tab key, you'll get more vertices. Let's give it some thickness. Go to the modifiers tab and click on solidify, and just add a bit of thickness over here. Go ahead and move this above the armature, switch to object mode, and go ahead and click on apply. Now when you switch to edit mode, you'll see that this is a separate object from the figure. Now because we extracted this object from the figure, of course it's going to have the same vertex groups. So go ahead and click over here, do backspace to get rid of all this. Go over here and now do delete all groups. Okay, press the 1 key. Go ahead and now switch to object mode and turn the armature back on. Now what I want you to notice is that go ahead and turn off this figure. If we click on this vest and press the shift key down and click on the armature, move our mouse over here, do Control P. Of course we can do with automatic weights. Go ahead and click it. But these automatic weights that we're doing is going to be based on the projection from the bones, right? So now if we turn the figure on, press the 1 key, click on this bone, and so it's in pose mode, press the R key 2 times, you can see that wherever the figure goes, the object is going to follow it. But it's using its own vertex groups based on where it was placed from the bones. But what we want is we want to capture the vertex groups that are already established on the figure onto this object. So the way we're going to do this is use that concept of weight transfer. Press the 1 key. Go ahead and click on the vest object, go to the data tab, and wipe out all the vertex groups. So this means that if we click over here, press the R key 2 times, the object is not going to move. Go ahead and click this object, go to edit mode, and make sure you do show weights and turn this off because we're seeing wireframe over here. Okay, so now go ahead and turn off the armature for a second. Now in order to capture the weights that are already on this figure, meaning that if we click on this figure, go to edit mode over here and do show weights, we want to capture the weights that are near this area, right? Like the chest over here, these weights. So how we do this is you click over here on this object, switch to edit mode, go to the modifiers tab, click over here, and then choose data transfer. Okay, so now what this is going to do is basically the same thing as weight transfer that we're going to see in Weight Paint. Go ahead and choose the figure as the source, click on vertex, make sure you click on vertex group. Notice over here that we're choosing nearest vertex. Now you can choose the option that gives you the best results. That's the idea over here. You don't actually have to understand what these options do. All that matters is that they pretty much do the same exact thing, and you want to use the one that's going to give you the best results, meaning less work, where you have to go back to each vertex and change some of the values. So let's just keep it on nearest vertex, go over here, do add, and now do generate a data. Okay, now in order to see this, we have to first click on the armature. Let's just switch to Weight Paint real quick and click on this bone. So it selects this vertex group over here. See how it's capturing the vertex groups that were already established on the figure through this modifier. Now make sure that you click over here so we can see this in edit mode. Now when we switch to edit mode, you'll see that this is the data we're seeing. Go ahead and turn off the armature. Now when you press the A key to select everything and press the G key to move this, you can actually see this in real time, how it does it. Right click to cancel this. Okay, so now in order to use this with the armature, you actually have to apply this. Go ahead and go to object mode and click apply. Now when you turn on the armature and now click on this bone and press the R key 2 times, it's going to give you high quality deformations. Basically these are the same deformations coming from the figure onto this vest. Okay, that's how that works. Go ahead and click this object, go over here, and now delete all groups over here. Now you're going to switch back to Weight Paint on this. So now go ahead and turn off the armature. Now we're going to use this weight transfer concept. You'll see that it's easier to use the modifier rather than this, but it works the same way. So over here we have to click on the figure, press the shift key down, click on the vest, and of course we have to be in Weight Paint to click on this. So after you click on the vest, which is the active object, click over here and now click on transfer weights. Now over here, what you need to make sure that this is set on vertex groups, which it is. This is on create data. Here we're going to do nearest vertex. Over here, you can do auto transform, doesn't really matter. You can see that even if we have nothing selected, it still works. This must be on, you want to choose by name. The reason for this is only showing one vertex group. Here we're going to do by name, all layers, and of course we're going to do add over here. And now what we need to do is actually go to the armature and right click on this bone. You have to select it again to select the group over here. Notice that it works just fine. Okay, and that's it. Now when you press the R key 2 times, it should work exactly the same way. So you can see that this is, I mean, I like using the modifier because it's in real time, but you can do it this way. It works exactly the same way, right? But when you use the modifier, you can actually go under edit mode over here. Now when we press the G key to move this, you'll see that the vertex groups don't change. But with that modifier, you can actually see how the projection system is working. And that's basically how this concept is working. Go ahead and just reload this file. And that's it. We've now covered everything that has to do with Weight Paint. Now, we're not going to look at stroke. It's because this is not going to matter to us in any way. This is because we're just working with vertices. This is really going to matter to you when you are doing texture painting as to how the brush concept works, right? But quite simply, if you do smooth stroke, this is when you click over here, it drags your mouse. That's it, right? That's really the only thing that we need to look at. And this is just how you want to paint across, airbrush, line, and these sort of things over here, right? Okay, so I'm just going to reload this file and see you in the next lesson. Thank you.